Hey guys, hope everybody's doing well as always. It is good to be back. After a long battle with, well, actually the battle with COVID wasn't very long, but I have long COVID side effects which are just draining. Like, even right now I'm feeling a lot better, but right now I am just so fatigued I could quite easily just go back to bed. But guys, the show must go on. So in today's video, I wanted to just discuss with everybody our new webinar. So we have a new webinar that we've launched, and there's a few things that I wanted to talk about in regards to the webinar. One of them is the reason why we made the webinar. Secondary, what's actually in the webinar, right? Which is important, because if you're going to go and you know, spend your time watching it, you want to know, what the hell's in there, Dan? Is it just another one of these, you know, long drawn out sales videos, right? So we're going to discuss that. And lastly, yeah, why you should watch it, right? Why it's important to you. What benefit will you get out of it? So let's start off with the reason why we made the webinar. Well, the truth is, over the last year, I've been on thousands of self-publishing discovery calls with all sorts of people from all walks of life, from all over the world. And, you know, a lot of people that are close to me call me Data Dan, right? Because I'm consistently jotting down data and making decisions off that data. And this is one of the biggest reasons why we made the webinar, because the data said that that's what we should do. Now, at the end of the day, all these people from all walks of life, right, from all over the world, asked all the same questions. Now, when I'm spending 6 to 8 hours a day on self-publishing discovery calls, answering the same questions over and over and over and over again, that's madness. I need to be inside my program helping my students grow, right? So it just makes total sense to put all of those questions into a single video, right, and put it out there. But the video isn't just about answering questions like on a self-publishing discovery call about public domain, about how it can benefit you and all of those other things. About, you know, a lot of people have questions about the legalities of public domain. It's all answered in there. We've covered everything. So we took the whole data, like the data from a whole year of these calls, and we put it all into this webinar. So I guarantee you, if there's a question that you have that you need to ask, then it's answered in this webinar. There's no doubt about it. But yes, it's not just all about questions and answers and how good public domain is and all of that stuff, right? We do show some statistics and stuff about it, about public domain versus other forms of publishing. But what we also do is we put in a few rewards for you guys, because, you know, it's quite a funny thing. When it's a pre-recorded video, people don't tend to want to sit and watch it, right? Even if it can give them benefit. But if you're jumping on a Zoom call with somebody who can talk directly with, people will still go on that Zoom call for the same 2 hours and chat away and lose 2 hours of their day, when they can have the same benefit and the same questions and answers through a webinar. But because there is that sort of push against it, it's the natural psychology of the human being. We put some rewards in there for you guys, right? So if you're going to go in there and you're going to take the time to sit down and listen to me, then you're going to be rewarded for that. Which gets me into the next subject, actually, which is what's in the webinar. So I'm actually going to go through it a little bit here. Now, the rewards that I was just talking about, these are 3 gifts. And the first one is called the Publishing Blueprint, right? And it's essentially an overall of what we do. So an overall of our strategy. It pretty much says, it's pretty much like a Trello board, really, where it shows our strategy. It just basically shows our strategy, the same strategy that we do $140,000 a year with in passive income on Kindle Direct Publishing. So it's essentially like the steps we take in our business to push out and undertake our business on the daily, right? So that's the Publishing Blueprint. And then secondary, we have the Keyword Bible. Now, third, I'm going to tell you what the third one is. It is the niche. Yeah, it's the niche strategy, right? So this is the combination of a PDF guide and a video training. And the way that it works, right, with publishing, keywords and niches are the two things that most people struggle with. So we wanted to give you a way to overcome those obstacles, right? So that's why we gave those two gifts away. And then we also want you to be able to publish public domain like we do. So that's why we gave you our strategy, essentially, in the publisher's blueprint. So if you stay to the end of the webinar and you do decide to come along and give me your time, just a short afternoon to learn about what we do and how it truly will benefit you, right? It is, like I said, the sum of a whole year's self-publishing discovery course put into one video, and much, much more than that, guys. So at the end of that webinar, you will be emailed these 3 gifts, right? And they do not come all at once. They're staggered, and they're done like that on purpose, right? Because you need to learn the strategy before you can really understand the keywords and the niche, the way that we do our niche research. So yes, that's in there. Okay, what else is in there? So again, we do go over some of the statistics, guys. We go over like public domain versus ghostwriting versus low and no content versus self-authored publishing. We go over, you know, the actual sales statistics on different forms of books and book media, ebooks, paperbacks, hardcovers, and all of that stuff. And it's not long and drawn out. It's an interactive webinar, so you get to click around and do things in there. It's not like your average webinar, so it's not long and drawn out. It's just simply there to show you the truths of publishing, because if you don't know the truths, you can't make decisions, right? And then we have a section where we actually teach the 3, like it's essentially the 3 secrets of what we do, how we identify what public domain books are going to sell before we actually publish them. So how we identify this, how we do our deep dive research really on whether or not the specific books we're going to publish are going to be worthy of us publishing. Are they even going to make us sales? You know, like we need to ensure that. So we actually teach you how to do that, and we teach you where to find public domain books and all of the assets and everything that you're going to need, right? Next, we teach our metadata. So this goes back to the keyword Bible and the niche training video and PDF companion guide that you'll get at the end of the video. So we actually really go over, this is why it's important to watch the webinar and not just want to get the free gifts, right? Because we go over why we do our niche training and how we do it, right? And you're truly not going to understand the niche training that you get at the end unless you see the reasons why we do it in the webinar. So it goes hand in hand, right? It's pretty much a 3-part training: the webinar, gift 1, gift 2, and gift 3. And with all of these things, you can do what we do, right? You might not be able to do it as good as we do it because you won't have our support, but you can still do what we do. That's what this is all about. And then the last one that we actually teach in here, and this is actual training, guys, right? This is not just like lightly touched on. This is actual training. We teach you, once you've identified what books, put them into a manuscript, and you've done your metadata, and then you've published them, we teach you how to multiply, which what this means is essentially just scaling your business and growth, business growth. So very, very, very important aspects of the training, of the webinar. And what else do we have in here? So yeah, and we go on to show a few more statistics and stuff, and there's a little bit more training in there and that, and that's about it, guys. At the end of the day, like, it's not it's very, very detailed. It answers, you know, there's a Q&A as well. It answers all the questions you could possibly have. There's literal training in there on public domain, you know, the core fundamentals of what we do. There's free gifts at the end of this thing that will aid you in your public domain publishing journey, right? That'll be emailed out to you. And there's also the opportunity to work with us. So why would you watch it? Right? That's the next thing that I wanted to talk about. Well, I think I just answered that, right, with what's involved in this webinar. It's at the end of the day, if you want to be in this business and you want to work with public domain, it's worth your while taking this training, watching this webinar, going through it, even if you don't work with us, because of course there's an offer. I'm not going to lie to you guys, it's a webinar. Of course there's an offer at the end to come and work with us, because we are the best at what we do in the world, and I will confidently stand by that when it comes to public domain, and the people who work with us win. So of course there's an offer, but there's also a lot more than that in there, right? Trust me, guys. Have I ever put out a video that wasn't valuable? Right? If you've been following me for a while, you would know that all our videos are valuable, and this is the biggest, best, most valuable training I have ever done. This is a 4-month long planned out webinar. It's not like we did it over a weekend, you know. So that's why you should watch it. You should watch it for your own benefit. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's for your own benefit. If you want to succeed, you need to watch the webinar if you want to succeed with public domain anyway. So guys, really, that one's on you. That one's on you. You know, there's a lot of people that have that mental block. I don't have the time to sit and watch an hour-long webinar, but you have the rest of your life to struggle and try to guess and watch YouTube videos countlessly over countless hours. You know, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, I would rather just watch stuff from the real people that are really succeeding and doing the job, and be able to just go in and get it done at the end of the day, because you'll lose half of your life to watching YouTube videos, but people won't watch a webinar. But you know, that's what it is at the end of the day, guys. This is why I put out this video, to give you an idea of what it is, and that way you can make your own decision on whether you think that building a passive future in your life is worth an afternoon of your time at the end of the day. Alright guys, that's all I had to say today. Again, I am still extremely fatigued. This is my first video in like 4 weeks, so it was actually quite hard to do. I've also got a lot of brain fog. COVID gives you brain fog. You can't actually... When I had COVID, I would say 3 words and forget what I was saying. Oh, it was terrible. I'm a man who very much prides myself on my cognitive abilities. A man who... One of my only fears and biggest fears is to lose my process of cognitive thought. Like dementia scares the hell out of me, right? So when I contracted COVID and that actually sort of happened and I got a snapshot of how that is, it's not nice. But anyway, guys, just wanted to drop this video. If you found this helpful, drop a comment below. Somewhere around this video is the link to the webinar if you do want to go and watch it and you do want to have a shot at truly changing your life, right? Stop watching these YouTube videos, just jump in the webinar and see what it's really about. Alright guys, I'll talk to you all soon. Have a great day and see ya.